Welcome to the Channel 6 News. I'm Tricia Maroney reporting. The Moab City Council says it wants someone to pay for the police department overtime caused by the fire at the jail Wednesday evening. And the council has also reduced the list of potential replacements for council member Dave Beerscheid to 2. We'll have those stories, plus a look at the plans of the new high school principal when the Channel 6 News continues.
First Western National Bank announces a new FHA Title I opportunity on loans for manufactured homes and lots for as little as 10% down, up to $40,500 available on manufactured homes and $54,000 for home and lot. The rates and terms are negotiable and all loan decisions are made locally. So renters, here's your chance to own at First Western National Bank, your hometown bank in Moab.
For all your insurance needs in Moab, it's Central Utah Insurance. Home, auto, business, and life. You can depend on the fast, friendly service at Central Utah Insurance, 471 South Main.
See the action, hear the crowd, feel the excitement, Western style. The Moab Rodeo this Friday, 7:30 p.m. at the Old Spanish Trail Arena. Fun for the whole family, and kids under 6 get in free. Save on advance tickets at the Cowboy Trading Company, 78 South Main.
The fire at the empty jail on Wednesday evening resulted in overtime for Moab City Police, and the City Council is looking for someone to pay it. An exercise by the Utah Department of Corrections went awry Wednesday. Corrections officers using the empty jail to practice response to hostage situations set off explosives that set the cellulose insulation in the jail on fire. The damage to the building was limited primarily to the jail, which was slated for demolition soon. But the fire smoldered for hours while the volunteer fire department worked to douse the hot spots. In the meantime, Moab police officers were kept on duty into the next morning on traffic control. According to the department, the cost of the overtime was about $500, and now the City Council says they shouldn't have to pay for it. They voted to send the bill to the county, anticipating that it will be passed on to the county's insurance company. But city officials aren't planning to hold their breath until they get paid. The council also decided to reduce the list of applicants for the opening on the Moab City Council. Last month, council member Dave Beerscheid resigned from the council, citing business commitments and frustration at the slow pace of some changes in the city. Beerscheid's term runs through the end of 1993, and 8 people applied for the position. But Thursday afternoon, the council decided to reduce that list to just 2. Council members voted by secret ballot for 2 of the 8, and the top 2 vote-getters were John Beck and Paul Seibert. Beck is a member of the City Planning Commission and ran for City Council last year but was eliminated in the primary. Seibert is the former building inspector for the city, who also serves on the Planning Commission. Originally, the council was planning on interviewing all of the 8 candidates on August 24th. The Bush administration is pushing to win Western states' conservative voters by quietly moving to ease or delay restrictions on the nation's public lands. The word comes from a syndicated story from the Los Angeles Times. Public lands are an issue in Utah and a number of other western states. And in some areas, such as here in Grand County, they are a flashpoint for controversy, as the federal government owns about 80% of the land in the county. The new federal rules will make it more difficult for environmental groups to stop timber sales or mining operations. A big backer of the new rules is Secretary of the Interior Manuel Lujan, a former conservative congressman from New Mexico. Some observers say the administration's decision is an effort to solidify support from those in the Wise Use movement, a loose-knit network of mining, timber, and cattle industries, and mostly rural citizens groups. They have complained for years the efforts to limit development on public lands is economically harmful and in some cases unconstitutional. Here in Grand County, students have another 3 weeks left on their summer vacation, but in another part of the state, schools have already opened. For years, some educators have said United States young people are at a disadvantage when competing against students from other countries. Now the northern Utah city of Ogden is doing something about that. This year, 3 Ogden schools will begin classes under a new calendar, which adds more days of school and comes closer to matching the European and Asian schedules. The students will attend 200 days of classes at these schools. That compares to the Utah average of only 180 days. But that still falls well below norms in other countries, where in Europe some countries have school 220 days long, and in Japan it's 243 days. What that means is, by the time they graduate from high school, Japanese students have had 4 years more education than those in this country. While surveys of parents show most of them support extending the school year, there are difficulties, and one of them is cost. State officials estimate it would cost $57 million a year to take the experiment statewide. The Moab Mosquito Abatement District has announced they will not be fogging over the weekend of August 7th through 9th. The district sprays malathion on the parts of town that light traps and local reports indicate have large numbers of adult mosquitoes. But the district is concentrating on source control, or killing the mosquitoes while they are in the larval stage. And local residents are urged to help out. Following the heavy rainstorms, such as the one in the valley on Thursday, water can accumulate in barrels, old tires, even bottles in backyards and properties. And even a small cupful of water, if left undisturbed, can hatch hundreds of mosquitoes. So the district is asking residents to look around their properties and make sure that standing water is drained to help prevent future hatchings and the need for more spraying. The new principal at the Grand County High School has some unique ideas for improving the education in Grand County. We'll be back with that story when the Channel 6 News continues.
If you haven't been to Frosty Freeze lately, you're in for a treat. They've modernized and gone old-fashioned with an ice cream parlor atmosphere and homemade ice cream. There's fat-free frozen yogurt for the diet-minded and a drive-through for the on-the-go. But that's not all. There's a gift corner now that's a treat for the eyes. From souvenirs to antiques to old-fashioned ice cream, it's Frosty Freeze.
It's the best time of year for an early morning or late evening round of golf, and they're ready and waiting for you at the Moab Golf Course. With its emerald green fairways surrounded by brilliant red rock, the Moab Golf Course has all you need to get started, including golf cart and club rentals, a complete pro shop, snack bar, driving range, and group or individual lessons. So come on out to the Moab Golf Course in Spanish Valley. Just follow the signs from Highway 191.
Best Value Foods, where shopping is a breeze.
Best Values, 6.5-ounce Star-Kissed tuna, 2 for $1. And Banquet frozen TV dinners, just 99 cents. Education in Grand County must and can get better. That was the view of Larry Price, the newly hired principal at the high school. He was speaking to the weekly luncheon meeting of the Moab Chamber of Commerce. Price has been a classroom teacher for 2 decades and was recently the principal of a small high school in Alaska. He told the audience that a better education for local youth is the responsibility of the school system and the community at large.
If our children are not going out job ready into your community, it's our fault. But it may be partly your fault for not letting us know how they are not being prepared appropriately. Let me know what those community needs are. We have a tremendous opportunity to establish a great vocational center that can bring kids to you job ready. But I can't train them if I don't know what those skills specifically are. If I can't put those kids out in the community to work with you in an internship or an apprenticeship kind of thing.
Results of statewide testing show Grand County students below both the national and state norms in education skills, and Price says he wants to change that.
It takes 3 elements to be successful in education as far as I'm concerned. One of them is the education system itself, which I am an integral part of. That's the superintendent, the instructors, the principals, my certified staff. All of those people that logistically make a school system work. That's one part. the schools will work with them. The second integral part of this, and the final part of that, is the community. Now, we can succeed with a smattering of assistance with all of those, but we can only excel if we're all together and all share a vision and all have a direction to go.
Price raised some new ideas to help motivate students, particularly those who in the past have been alienated and fallen by the wayside. One idea is to reward students with good school records or improving school records with special discounts at local stores. Another suggestion is to choose a student of the month, not chosen by teachers but by other students as well. And a novel approach to involving students who otherwise are not motivated is to take advantage of their interest in fast cars.
Do you guys realize that Grand County has one of the highest dropout rates in the state of Utah? That's deplorable. It's intolerable. But it's our fault. Somewhere in here, we're not meeting their needs, or they'd stay in school. I can meet their needs in some unusual ways. Let me explain one of them that's in the mill now. I have contacted Chrysler Motor Corporation, and they look this close to drying the ink on donating a brand new car to us for our technology center. I talked to Mountain Fuel initially, but now I'm negotiating with Utah Gas Service, and they're very excited. The thing that brought this up to me was that Layton High School, just after I came back from Alaska, announced statewide, we've got an alternative fuel vehicle powered by natural gas. Ford Motor Company gave them a 5.0 Mustang. They converted it to natural gas. They've been taking it down to the drag strip, and they've been racing. They've challenged every school in the state to meet them. Peculiarly enough, most of you folks may not know it, Moab has one of only 2 sanctioned NHRA drag strips in the state of Utah. Your airport is one. Bonneville drag strip in Salt Lake is the other. I accept their challenge, and I'm going to meet the needs of the kids that have fallen through the cracks here. If Chrysler comes through with a sponsorship of the car, we'll annihilate that Mustang.
But Price returned to his basic theme: the schools here in Grand County can and must do a better job. The world is changing, said Price, and students graduating from high school have had to be able to compete in a tough job market.
We have more students than we have jobs. It would be unforgivable as the leader of this school not to prepare your children and the children of this community to compete in a worldwide market, that they can succeed and excel out there. Unless we have a quality education program, when they leave Moab, and a good propensity of them will, a lot of them will, they won't be able to compete. It's my promise to you that I will provide the highest quality education possible.
Schools in Grand County go back to class on August 24th. Friday evening is the premiere of the Moab Rodeo Series by the Arches Rodeo Company. Rodeos have been a favorite event for both local residents and visitors to Grand County, and the new rodeo, running most Fridays through the beginning of September. And Friday night, August 7th, the series gets off to a bang with a special concert by country music star Tracy McLean and her band. If the series catches on, rodeo owners Doug McLean and Ken Latham plan to bring it back each week next summer. Up next is the Canyon Country weather forecast when the Channel 6 News continues.
For the best RV camp park in Moab, it's Holiday Haven, with oversized spaces to accommodate the largest RV and cool, comfortable tent sites under mature shade trees, all with a convenient central location. Holiday Haven is also Moab's finest mobile home park that offers country living in the city, an established park with pool, playground, laundry facilities, and a retired section. For comfortable RV or mobile home living, it's Holiday Haven, 400 North, 5th West.
Through the seasons, through the miles, Through the rough country of southeastern Utah, we get you through. We're GTE. We're your telephone company.
Alpine Air has just gotten bigger with their faster, smoother Cheyenne 3. Expanded their schedule for timely connections and broadened their horizons to include Grand Junction, Colorado. Moab is now more accessible through Salt Lake to the west and Grand Junction to the rest of the world. Alpine Air, your Moab connection.
Our Thursday forecast called for mostly clear skies, and it rained. Our Friday forecast called for mostly cloudy skies, and it was sunny and bright. Consider yourself forewarned. The official forecast for Moab and Canyon Country calls for partly cloudy skies through the weekend and into Monday. Look for afternoon high temperatures climbing into the upper 90s with overnight lows around 65. And there is a chance of some scattered thunder showers in the late afternoon and evening with some strong winds near the storm. But by Tuesday, look for more sunlight and temperatures around 100 degrees. And that's the news of Moab and Canyon Country. I'm Tricia Maroney reporting.
Welcome to the Channel 6 News. I'm Dee Tranter reporting. The demolition of the county jail and parts of the courthouse building gets underway. We'll have that story, plus a look at how Grand County officials' salary compare to the rest of the state, when Channel 6 News continues. Best Value Foods, where shopping is a breeze.
Best values, 6.5-ounce Star-Kissed tuna, 2 for $1. And Banquet frozen TV dinners, just 99 cents. When you need a gift, come to Sherry's Country Store Gifts. A country store doesn't just mean country-style goods, it means a store stocked with items to satisfy the needs of the people. Sherry's carries on that tradition by offering a wide selection of gifts for any age, presented in a warm country store atmosphere. So come on in and browse, or grab a treat and set a spell on the green benches of Sherry's Country Store Gifts in the Western Plaza.
More than 9 months after voter approval of the courthouse renovation, the Grand County Commission has begun the actual dismantling of the old jail in preparation for construction of the new. Crews are scheduled to begin demolition on Monday. The jail will be completely torn down, as will big parts of the courthouse building itself. In their place, a new and bigger jail will go in, along with expanded courtroom space and larger county offices. The entire project should take about a year. Friday afternoon, the Commission held a special ceremony marking the beginning of the demolition work.
We had a special committee set up to help us push the bond election and educate people to the needs of the new court jail facility. We had 2 bond elections. The first one failed by I think 50 votes. And so we had another one, and at that point we got a committee together, and they were invaluable to the county in educating and getting out information to the citizens. One of the co-chairs of that committee was Mel Swanson, and he's standing right here, and we've asked him to give a few words on behalf of the committee.
It was formed by citizens, a group of citizens, 7 of us, I believe. We looked at the facts, we looked at the program that the county commission put together to see if there was indeed a need for renovation, and what if there's rumors about building empires and whatnot, and we filtered through all this information and came to the conclusion that there was a need. The need had been in existence for about 10 years and had finally come up to a point of the courthouse being on the condemnation list. And so a decision had to be made by the voters. The options that they had presented, the one that they made the decision on looked to be the best option, forming the least impacts to the taxpayers. We believed in that option. We believed in the need for the courthouse.
I'm real honored and proud to be a part of a community that works and strives and really stretches to meet the needs that the community has. My grandfather worked on the Stuntman's Hall of Fame, which was originally one of the first Mormon churches. My great-grandfather hauled stones in on wagons for Star Hall, and it's an honor for me to be a part of something that I hope will stand and serve the community for a long time.
The fire in the jail building last week did cause damage, but most of it was in areas that were slated to be raised. Bids for much of the courthouse work were awarded last week, along with hiring the architectural firm of Sandstrom and Associates. The commission has also employed Richard Kohler as project manager and Knight Brothers Construction as construction managers. Until the renovated courthouse is open next year, county business, including court, will take place at the old state office building on 2nd South. The Moab Mosquito Abatement District has announced they will be checking their mosquito traps Monday evening and will not be spraying. Based on the results of the traps and reports from different neighborhoods, the district will then decide which parts of town, if any, need to be sprayed later this week. And each day the district will announce on their telephone recording where the spraying will take place, and that phone number is 259-7161. With about 6,800 people, Grand County is the 20th out of 29 Utah counties in population. And for most, but not all, county elected officials' salaries are about at the same ranking. That conclusion comes from the Utah Taxpayers Association, which has been compiling information on how the government spends tax money. The organization's August newsletter ranks the annual salaries of elected officials as of January 1st of this year. Grand County commissioners receiving $9,600 a year rank 20th in the state. The pay for the county clerk here is 21st in the state. The assessor and recorder are both 24th in the state, and the treasurer is ranked 22nd. The Grand County sheriff is ranked 14th in the state. But the Grand County attorney is the 4th highest paid in the state, with more going only to Salt Lake, Davis, and Sevier counties. The Grand County job pays a monthly fee of $6,500 for a total of $66,000 per year. That's higher than the county attorney in Utah County, which has over 250,000 residents, and Weber County, which has over 160,000 people. Grand County Commission increased the compensation when they signed a contract with Lyle Anderson after county residents voted against former county attorney Elaine Coates in a yes-no vote in November of 1990. The new school year is just about to begin, and the Red Rock Elementary School is getting ready, and we'll have that story when Channel 6 News continues.
First Western National Bank announces a new FHA Title I opportunity on loans for manufactured homes and lots for as little as 10% down, up to $40,500 available on manufactured homes and $54,000 for home and lot. The rates and terms are negotiable and all loan decisions are made locally. So renters, here's your chance to own at First Western National Bank, your hometown bank in Moab.
For all your insurance needs in Moab, it's Central Utah Insurance. Home, auto, business, and life. You can depend on the fast, friendly service at Central Utah Insurance, 471 South Main.
Arches Vineyards right here in Moab is providing yet more proof that Moab is completely unique to Utah and the world. The Arches Vineyard is Utah's only commercial winery. Grapes grown and fine wine produced just 3 miles south of Center and Main in Moab. Come by the tasting room from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. for a taste and a tour of the award-winning Riesling or the rich and aromatic Merlot. 2182 South Highway 191, Arches Vineyards. Call 259-5397. Enjoy a toast to the grapes of Moab Valley and Arches Vineyards.
Grand County received over $300,000 in payment in lieu of tax money from the federal government, but 3rd District Congressman Bill Orton says that's not enough. Orton has co-sponsored a bill to increase the funding. Payment in lieu of taxes, or PILT, began in 1977 as a way of compensating counties with large tracts of federally owned land. The money is a substitute for property taxes that would be owed if the land was privately owned. But the amount of PILT has remained about the same over the past 15 years. And Orton says that with inflation, the value of PILT has been reduced by half. Orton's bill would increase the amount and would include an inflation adjustment to cover increases in the cost of living. It may not be good news for Grand County youngsters, but the 1992-93 school year gets underway in just a couple of weeks. Students will return to classes on Monday, August 24th, and for kindergarten students and first grade through third graders who are new to Moab, there will be registration at Red Rock Elementary School on Tuesday, August 11th. According to school principal Margaret Hopkin, the school will be ready to get your child's education going, but parents have to be prepared.
Registration is Tuesday, and we'll be registering all kindergarten students, plus any new students to Moab, first, second, and third grade students.
What are the things those students have to have with them?
The students need to bring immunization records and a birth certificate. And there's a new law this year that we can't let students into school without immunization. So it's very important that they bring those records. On Tuesday, Tina Brown will be here. She's the public health nurse, and she'll be able to answer any questions that parents have about immunization.
And I heard that she'll also be testing some vision?
Yes, she'll have some vision screening going on.
And what's the aim behind that?
Well, we really like to, as the students come in, to catch any of the vision problems, and so parents have an option when the kids come in to have the vision screened if they haven't already done so.
And what time will the registration be going on?
We're registering from 9 to 4 o'clock, 9 a.m. to 4.
There are some new programs, and one of the most important, says Hopkin, is a project to help make sure students start each school day with a nutritious meal.
We're really excited. This year we're going to have a breakfast program so that kids can come to school and have breakfast before school. And the breakfast costs 60 cents per breakfast, and if the student is on a reduced lunch or breakfast, the breakfast would be 30 cents.
The school has available discounted breakfasts and lunches for students who qualify. In the past, it's been difficult to convince parents to enroll their youngsters in the program, but Hopkin explained that the more students taking part, the more the school district is able to receive in outside grants and funding.
I'd like to really encourage parents to fill out the free and reduced lunch forms or breakfast forms, because a lot of parents, you know, there's sort of a stigma with being on free lunch sometimes, but actually it helps Red Rock a lot, and actually the Grand County School District, because we receive federal money for everyone who qualifies for free or reduced lunch, and that goes into our Chapter 1 program. And we found last year when we started to really talk about how this helps our school, we had a lot more parents apply for free and reduced lunch, and we saw an increase in our Chapter 1 monies. And so I'd encourage everybody, you know, to fill those out if they think that they might qualify.
In recent years, the Red Rock School has made a big effort to put together special events and days that help students learn history in a different and more interesting way. Last year, some of those activities included a timeline, the celebration of a Chinese New Year, and school plays based on Greek mythology. And Hopkins says special programs will play a big role this year as well.
At Red Rock last year, at the very end of the year, we tried the Pig Out on Books reading incentive program, and it was a great success. We had all the kids were reading, and we had a lot of fun with that. And so the teachers this year have decided that as a goal, we'll be doing an incentive program per quarter, which means that every quarter there'll be something like that, just for fun to do. And so we're looking forward to that. And you know, another new thing at Red Rock, we'll have a computer in each classroom now that's networked into the lab. So we're calling it a teacher workstation, although some of the kids may be working at these computers. They'll be networked right into the lab. So that's new and exciting. We're seeing our technology expand here.
And once again, registration for kindergarten students and first through third grades new to Moab takes place Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 4 o'clock at the Red Rock Elementary School. Well, up next is the Canyon Country weather forecast when Channel 6 News continues.
For the best RV camp park in Moab, it's Holiday Haven, with oversized spaces to accommodate the largest RV and cool, comfortable tent sites under mature shade trees, all with a convenient central location. Holiday Haven is also Moab's finest mobile home park that offers country living in the city, an established park with pool, playground, laundry facilities, and a retired section. For comfortable RV or mobile home living, it's Holiday Haven, 400 North, 5th West.
In case you've been too busy to notice, McDonald's prices have changed. An original hamburger is just 59 cents, a cheeseburger just 69 cents, a sausage biscuit 79 cents. But if you're in a hurry, don't worry, because this is not a promotion. It's McDonald's today. And from now on.
Through the seasons, through the miles, through the rough country of southeastern Utah, we get you through. We're GTE. We're your telephone company.
Heavy cloud cover hung over the valley on Monday, bringing some very scattered showers and mid-90s temperatures, and look for more of the same the rest of the week. Forecast for Moab and Canyon Country calls for partly cloudy skies through Tuesday with afternoon high temperatures in the upper 90s, overnight lows at about 65. And the long-range forecast calls for the partly cloudy skies to continue with a chance of some scattered showers and highs around the 100-degree mark. And that's news of Moab and Canyon Country. I'm Dee Tranter reporting. Have a good day.
Welcome to the Channel 6 News. I'm Jim Kelly reporting. The superintendent of schools says public education in Grand County will improve this year, and Atlas Minerals Company says they want to leave the contaminated tailings pile where it is. We'll have those stories when the Channel 6 News continues.
If you haven't been to Frosty Freeze lately, you're in for a treat. They've modernized and gone old-fashioned with an ice cream parlor atmosphere and homemade ice cream. There's fat-free frozen yogurt for the diet-minded and a drive-thru for the on-the-go. But that's not all. There's a gift corner now that's a treat for the eyes. From souvenirs to antiques to old-fashioned ice cream, it's Frosty Freeze.
Weather's really something.
Heat pump weather.
Why would anybody want a heat pump this time of year?
I can see they haven't taught you everything in college. Well, heat pumps just don't heat in the winter. They cool in the summer.
Like air conditioners?
Yeah. Heat pump's the most efficient cooling and heating system going.
Hi, Earl.
Morning, Audrey.
Come and have some tea.
Say, bring that heat pump on up, will you, son? Oh, and grab my toolbox while you're at it.
Thanks a lot, Earl.
Utah Power. Call for the H-Pro dealer nearest you and ask about our low-interest financing.
Your H-Pro dealer in Moab is Nelson's Heating and Refrigeration.
The new school year begins for Grand County students on August 24th, and school administrators are promising some major changes. That's the word from the new school superintendent, Richard Averett, who was hired this summer. Averett is just one of a number of new staff members coming on board this year.
The school year begins in about 2 weeks. What's going to be new and different this year in the school system?
Certainly a lot of people. We have the new principal at the high school, Larry Price, who has a new assistant principal. Brian Bentley will be the new principal of HMK School. We have a number of new staff members replacing those who are not with us. We have a new selection of coaches at the high school. We're going to have a number of new people anyway.
And soon you'll have a new contract with the teachers. How do the negotiations look on that right now?
I was unable to be at the last negotiation session. However, the board has made an offer to the teachers, which I assume the association will be taking to the teacher membership, and I would assume that it'll be satisfied and settled quite soon.
In the past, teachers gave the administration basically a vote of no confidence last year. Have you heard anything about rumblings along those lines?
Not for this year. I think that the offers that have been discussed have been mutually advantageous.
Statewide testing in recent years showed Grand County students scored below the Utah national average. That was one reason the school district moved last year back to a 5-day week. Averett said he expects teachers to achieve certain goals each year.
One of the things we have begun to work with is a listing of what students should be able to achieve at the end of each grade level. I have provided each of the school principals and with selected teachers who've come by to ask for copies, standards of student expected achievement. And what should a first grader know at the end of the first grade? In every curricular area. We will be working on the high school level in the immediate future. Meanwhile, the state's taking a look at what we've provided and are matching those up with the core curriculum provided by the state in hopes that we can totally articulate our curriculum and make it consistent with what the state would like, K through 12, in all subject matters.
The County Commission has proposed a cultural arts center on the land recently purchased by the school off 4th East. Averett said the center would be a boost for local students.
The county has indicated they would be willing to approach the Community Impact Board and provide the funding through the Community Impact Board to build a performing arts center, which I'm excited about because it would give the students in this district a chance to perform and to see performances. The local artisans to display their wares as well as our students. And it would be a great place to be as a community. I can also see high school graduation taking place in an indoor facility which would be moderated for its weather and be an ideal place for families to get together.
The center would cost $2 million to build, and the county would try to get half of that in grants. The rest would be funded by adding a 1% tax to restaurant food. In the past, local restaurants fought that tax.
I was told that the school board was told by the commissioners that one of their jobs would be to go out and sell that sandwich tax. Is that, in fact, what you're going to be doing?
I don't know. I've not been given direction from the board. I would hope that the community could support the effort to have a performing cultural arts center, and if that's what it takes, I would hope that we could sustain that together, because this should be a real drawing card for the community, to have some place for performers to perform, for the local artisans to display their ware, and for the students to not only perform but to see great performances.
Also in the works is a plan to convert the now mostly vacant vocational center into a technology center with the equipment to teach youngsters technical skills needed in a rapidly changing world.
The technology center is getting a big boost as of today. I met early this morning with the principal at the middle school, Diana Messick, and she has 2 individuals she's put under contract to work to get the program up and running. She was asking this morning for the bottom line figure as to how much money is available to get hardware. And we've looked at software, and it looks like the Plato system we put in place, which is a K-12 curriculum, totally articulated and consistent with the state core curriculum. So I think that'll be of great help to our students.
What is it going to cost?
I don't know, but she has $100,000 as of this morning to start working with, so that ought to give her a good start.
It will take some time, says Averett, for the results of the new changes to be seen, but he also says some positive differences should be apparent this year.
I think that the curricular changes will start taking place the first day the students enter the classroom. I think to see a long-term gain as far as test scores and all, we ought to look at 2 to 3 years minimum, because it's going to take a time to articulate the new curriculum and feel comfortable with teaching it. Well, obviously when there's a change, it's how are the students performing, how are they feeling about school. I'm excited about the things that Mr. Price is already setting in place at the high school, selecting a vice principal with a heavy counseling background, which I think will be a great help to the students. I think that in a number of areas we'll be able to see changes within as short a time as the first semester, with students getting turned back on to school.
Averett came to Moab this year after working as an administrator in the Ventura School District in California. While major oil companies seem to have pulled back from major development of oil in this area, some smaller companies are moving ahead. The Grand Resource Area of the Bureau of Land Management will release an environmental assessment of a proposal by the Double Eagle Petroleum Company to drill an experimental well in the Hatch Point area about 20 miles south of Moab. Hatch Point was the scene of 2 recent drilling efforts. Both Meridian Oil and Chevron spent millions of dollars on drilling horizontal wells, but both have been closed down and plugged. The report on the Double Eagle proposal will be available Thursday, August 13th from the Grand Resource Area office on Sand Flats Road, and the BLM will be accepting written comments on the document through August 27th. Atlas Minerals says the contaminated tailings pond just north of town is safe and should be left where it is. We'll have that story when the Channel 6 News continues.
If it's housewares, fabrics, or school supplies you need, think Sprouse. If it's bed and bath items or health and beauty aids you're looking for, think Sprouse. For greeting cards, footwear, or toys, think Sprouse. For more values more often, think Sprouse. Now save on items for back to school. Check the flyer and the advertiser for this week's specials. Sprouse.
Alpine Air has just gotten bigger with their faster, smoother Cheyenne 3. Expanded their schedule for timely connections and broadened their horizons to include Grand Junction, Colorado. Moab is now more accessible through Salt Lake to the west and Grand Junction to the rest of the world. Alpine Air, your Moab connection.
Rim Cyclery is the hub of the action in the mountain bike capital of the world, carrying the specialized Klein and Mountain Goat brands and fully staffed with experts in mountain bike service. Rim is also your stop for camping gear and accessories and sportswear featuring Gramici shorts and tops. Bikers, here's a simple rule. If you're gearing up, see Rim. If you've broken down, see Rim. 94 West, 100 North.
The Moab Mosquito Abatement District has announced they will be spraying Zone 1 on Tuesday evening, August 11th. Zone 1 includes areas of Moab west of Main Street from the Colorado River down through the Mountain View subdivision. The Mosquito District has been concentrating this year on source control, eliminating mosquitoes in the larval stage, but they still need to sometimes spray to kill the adult insects, and each day they announce if and where they will be spraying. You can find out that information by calling 259-7161. The tailings pond at the Atlas uranium plant will likely be left where it is and covered. That word came last month from Richard Blubaugh, Vice President of Environmental and Government Affairs for the Atlas Corporation. He was in town to discuss with county commissioners deeding over to the county land behind Star Hall owned by the Uranium Trust for the courthouse renovation. And he also talked about the long-term plans of the company and the Nuclear Regulatory Commission for the reclamation of the Atlas mill site. Actual production at the plant ceased in the mid-1980s, and the company and the federal government have been discussing the cleanup According to Bluebaugh, a decision should be reached soon on an Atlas proposal.
What are some of the general provisions of that revised plan?
It calls for recontouring, covering, and rock armoring the site, the pile, and the tailings pile in particular, and recontouring the general site, reclamation, vegetation, that type of thing.
In the past, some people have worried that there may have been materials, radioactive materials, blowing off the pile. Past testing has indicated that that's not a problem. Is that accurate? Is there no problem from that?
I believe it's accurate, yeah. We have tested the area around the tailings pile and the mill. There was a little cleanup effort along the fence line several years ago, and to my knowledge, there's been no recurrence of that problem. That's why we have people on site to continue to apply dust suppressants and watch that situation very closely.
There are some people in town who are concerned that the pile is an unlined, sand-based pile, that the radioactive material in there could leach into the water system and other things. From the point of view of Atlas, what's the likelihood of anything like that ever happening?
I would say nil. Water flows downhill. If there was any contamination, it would not enter anyone's water supply.
Is there any chance that the pile would be moved, or is that a decision that was made a while ago not to do that?
The decision was made back in 1979 in a NEPA process for all, well, in particular for this site, but at that time all existing sites went through a NEPA process. An environmental impact statement was written with public participation, and that plan was approved with the site being reclaimed in place.
A committee set up by the county recommended to the commission that they lobby hard to move the pile away from Moab, saying a perceived health threat would hurt future development. But commissioners declined to act on that recommendation, and according to Bluebaugh, the federal government doesn't want to move the pile.
NRC has a policy that they've been pretty adamant about all these years, and that is non-proliferation of sites. If you move this facility to another site, you really end up with two sites. Because if there is contamination that goes many feet beneath it, you're still going to have contamination. So they were very adamant about minimizing the number of contaminated sites around the country. This site has been studied by the experts as far as geomorphological considerations. This is a stable site.
Is it unusual to be leaving material in an area so close to a population center?
I don't know that it is. I mean, if it's safely contained, I don't think that's unusual.
In addition, moving the pile would be costly to both the company and to the federal government. We asked Bluebaugh what his company's reaction would be to a movement in Moab to move the contaminated materials.
I think we would certainly sit down and talk about it and listen, but I think from just a prudent businessman's approach, we would initially object to any strenuous move in that direction.
So as of now, it looks like the contaminated materials at the entrance of Moab will become a permanent part of the landscape. The Moab Board of Appeals will meet Wednesday at noon at the Cattleman's Restaurant. On the agenda is a discussion of dangerous buildings, codes, and procedures. The board was formed last year and has the power to declare buildings unsafe. The Lasting Impressions Talent Management Company is opening a branch office in Moab, and they are looking to represent local models and actors. If you would like to talk to them, pictures will be accepted and forms filled out Thursday, August 13th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Griffith Production Offices in Moab. Up next is the Canyon Country weather forecast when the Channel 6 News continues.
First Western National Bank announces a new FHA Title I opportunity on loans for manufactured homes and lots for as little as 10% down, up to $40,500 available on manufactured homes and $54,000 for home and lot. The rates and terms are negotiable and all loan decisions are made locally. So renters, here's your chance to own at First Western National Bank, your hometown bank in Moab.
Through the seasons, through the miles, through the rough country of southeastern Utah, we get you through. We're GTE. We're your telephone company.
It's the best time of year for an early morning or late evening round of golf, and they're ready and waiting for you at the Moab Golf Course. With its emerald green fairways surrounded by brilliant red rock, the Moab Golf Course has all you need to get started, including golf cart and club rentals, a complete pro shop, snack bar, driving range, and group or individual lessons. So come on out to the Moab Golf Course in Spanish Valley. Just follow the signs from Highway 191.
It was clouds and hazy sunshine in the valley on Tuesday with scattered light showers and humidity around the 30% level and afternoon temperatures in the 90s. And look for more of the same, only hotter, through the rest of the week. The official weather forecast for Moab and Canyon Country calls for partly cloudy skies through Wednesday. Overnight lows should be down around 70 degrees with Wednesday highs around 105. The long-range forecast calls for high temperatures, sunshine Thursday through Saturday, with temperatures above 100 degrees and evenings in the 60s. And that's the news of Moab and Canyon Country. I'm Jim Kelly, reminding you to keep on smiling. Welcome to the Channel 6 News. I'm Dee Tranter reporting. Debbie Shea, campaigning for her husband, tells local Democrats why Pat Shea should be elected governor. And County Attorney Lyle Anderson says a report on his income doesn't tell the whole story. We'll have those stories, plus a proposal from the American Association of Retired Persons on how to solve the health care crisis when Channel 6 News continues.
Best Value Foods, where shopping is a breeze.
This week, save on 64-ounce assorted Gatorade, just $2.09, and Pepsi products 6-pack cans, just $1.69.
For the best RV camp park in Moab, it's Holiday Haven, with oversized spaces to accommodate the largest RV and cool, comfortable tent sites under mature shade trees, all with a convenient central location. Holiday Haven is also Moab's finest mobile home park that offers country living in the city. An established park with pool, playground, laundry facilities, and a retired section. For comfortable RV or mobile home living, it's Holiday Haven, 400 North, 5th West.
The wife of the leading candidate for the Democratic nomination for governor was in Moab on Wednesday. Debbie Shea, wife of Pat Shea, spoke to a campaign luncheon held at the Creekside restaurant.
Pat is applying for a job. It's the most important job he's ever applied for. He'll be interviewed and interviewed, but you will decide if he's qualified for the job. He works, and that's where public service is so important and honorable. Being a nurse, it's an honor to be a nurse and to be in public service, and Pat feels the same way. So the people will decide, and we just hope that you see it as we do, and we think he represents you well, and you will always be a part of what his campaign's about.
Shea told the audience the campaign will revolve around issues critical to the future of Utah.
The great thing about this campaign is there are a lot of good people running. The issues are important, and that's what is exciting to us, because we hope people will get out and vote. Yeah. And please, please tell 5 people, 10 people that this is the important dates are the day after Labor Day, which is a hard day, I know, but are the primaries, so that's September 8th.
The Shea campaign has been boosted by recent polls showing their candidate has pulled ahead of rival Stuart Hansen. Voters will go to the polls on September 8th for both Democratic and Republican primaries. Moab City Planning Commission will hold its regular meeting Thursday evening. Agenda points include a request from Lee McDonough for a license to run a security service business on Bartlett Street. Camilla Green is requesting a zone change from agriculture to residential agriculture for her land west of Mill Creek Drive. The Commission will also look at giving approval to a planned unit development of modular housing at the Holiday Haven Mobile Home Park, and they will discuss design criteria for future developments. The meeting gets underway at 7:30 p.m. at the Red Rock Elementary School, room 11, on Thursday evening. County Attorney Lyle Anderson says reports that he is the 4th highest paid county attorney in the state do not tell the whole story. Earlier this week, Channel 6 ran a report based on a survey by the Utah Taxpayers Association. That survey, carried in the organization's August newsletter, listed Anderson's pay at $66,000 a year, higher than 25 of 29 county attorneys in the state. But Anderson told Channel 6 on Wednesday that the report doesn't accurately reflect how much he gets to keep.
On Monday, the Channel 6 ran an item saying that I was the 4th highest paid county attorney in the state of Utah, and I wish I were the 4th highest paid county attorney in the state of Utah, and if I were, I wouldn't apologize for it. I'd just try to be the 4th best county attorney or better. But if you're really going to compare apples with apples and oranges with oranges, you have to look at what my compensation is and how it compares with that of other county attorneys. I'm paid $66,000 a year as an independent contractor, but out of that $66,000, I pay $16,000 for fringe benefits like Social Security taxes, retirement, health insurance, and unemployment and workers' compensation that other counties are providing for their county attorneys at no charge, and our county is providing for most county employees. So my salary, or my annual total compensation of $66,000 is really comparable to a salary of about $50,000. And when I compare that with other county attorneys in the state, it places me about in the middle of county attorneys. It's not necessarily fair to compare county attorneys across the board, because some of them work full-time and some of them work part-time. And I don't know how much it matters to people, but if somebody's going to make some decision based on how much I'm paid in comparison with other county attorneys, I'd like them to be able to compare apples with apples and oranges with oranges.
The Grand County Attorney's job is part-time position, and the compensation is set by the County Commission. Anderson also provides legal services to the City of Monticello and the Allen Memorial Hospital Board, as well as occasional work for the Special Service Recreation District and a private practice in Monticello. Archaeologists report they have found evidence that ancient people lived on Cedar Mesa as long as 8,000 years ago. That information comes from a dig at Old Man Cave, one of the archaeological sites under investigation in the Four Corners area. Scientists from the Four Corners School of Outdoor Education, the Bureau of Land Management, and the Navajo Nation discovered artifacts including sandals made from yucca fibers that indicate humans lived on Cedar Mesa before the Anasazi, or ancient ones, appeared. The Anasazi were responsible for the cliff dwellings and rock art that is so prominent throughout this region. The Lasting Impressions Talent Management Company is opening a branch office in Moab, and they're looking to represent local models and actors. If you'd like to talk to them, pictures will be accepted and forms filled out Thursday, August 13th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Griffith production offices in Moab. Services will be held this Saturday for longtime Moab resident John Brown, who died Tuesday at Allen Memorial Hospital. He was 68 years of age. John moved to Moab in 1954 and worked as a building contractor. In the late 1980s, he served as local building inspector. He is survived by his wife Dixie and daughters Kathy Foy of Idaho, Lisa Byram of California, Jerry Foy of Moab, and Gail Dalton of Moab, as well as sister Betty Riley of Texas, and 10 grandchildren. A viewing will be held Friday evening from 7 to 9 p.m. at the Dish Funeral Home with a scripture service at 8 p.m. A funeral mass will be held Saturday morning at 10:30 a.m. at St. Pius X Catholic Church. The State Director of the American Association of Retired Persons says the nation needs a quick solution to a health care crisis. We'll have that story when Channel 6 News continues.
Coming to Moab, Monday, August 17th at 7:30 p.m. for one night only to start off the Grand County Fair at the Old Spanish Trail Arena will be the personal appearance of the popular country western singer Joni Harms.
You know, those feelings that you had for her gone.
Tickets for Monday, August 17th performance available at City Market and Cowboy Trading Company.
I could just figure out why you held on to that now.
Subway sandwiches are incredible and piled high with as many ingredients as you can choose. Try a foot-long for a huge appetite. Hot or cold sandwiches, too. Subway's the place in Moab for a midnight snack. The bread's baked fresh daily, whole wheat or white. Call 259-SUBS to place an order. Go for a sub today at Subway on Main Street.
For all your insurance needs in Moab, it's Central Utah Insurance. Home, auto, business, and life. You can depend on the fast, friendly service at Central Utah Insurance, 471 South Main.
The Moab Mosquito Abatement District is fogging parts of the town when light traps and neighborhood reports indicate a need, and if you would like to know the daily schedule, you can call the district at 259-7161. The cost and the problems of health care in America are out of control and getting worse. That alarming opinion came from Kenneth Greer, the State Director of the American Association of Retired Persons. He was speaking to the weekly meeting of the Moab Chamber of Commerce. AARP is an organization of Americans over the age of 55 and has been extremely interested in the health care crisis. And the group believes all Americans should be watching the unfolding debate over what to do.
Nearly every day, when we open the newspapers or listen to TV, we hear something about health care reform. Something about the skyrocketing costs, the uninsured, and the unaffordable long-term care that some people may be inflicted with. And we can't deny it. America has one of the most sophisticated medical delivery systems in the world. We have the state-of-the-art medical technology at our fingertips. But our healthcare system is also a little out of order and most expensive. It's efficient, but it is least equitable to you and I. All these factors are creating a situation where only those wealthy people are the ones that can afford good medical care or long-term care.
Close to 40 million Americans are without health insurance or underinsured. That shortfall can mean major medical problems.
Too often they mean that people without health insurance are not seeking proper care and treatment that they need at the time they need it. Who are the underinsured? The underinsured are only 12 million American children, not even going to see a doctor, not even getting the immunization. You can read the papers daily and find out that the young students that are starting the school, many of them, are susceptible to some of those infant diseases that most of us are immunized for at the time that it is most appropriate. No medical insurance for 12 million children.
And for the rest of America, the cost of health care is going out of sight.
In 1970, the United States spent $74 billion on health care. 1992, it is estimated that we will be spending close to $800 billion in our health care for this country. And we are getting less for our dollars. Escalating health care costs are placing serious stress and strains on our economy, with businesses such as you people represent here today, and you can no longer afford to buy health care for your people who work for you if you do hire someone. In the year 2000, it is projected, if we continue to do the same type of health care as we're involved with today, we will be spending $1.6 trillion. Now, I told you just a second ago, in 1992, we have projected $800 billion. Now think just ahead, how many years? 8 more years, and you will double $1.6 trillion.
The solution proposed by AARP is a new medical program they call Health Care America, a single health care system integrating elements of both private insurance plans and a nationalized system.
The key to this system is a MediCard. With the MediCard, everyone, regardless of age, income, or employment status, would gain access to a strengthened, improved, and expanded Medicare program. This MediCard would be just like your credit card that you use at the gas station. You would go into a doctor or a hospital or a long-term care, and you'd run them through their little machine, and you would be admitted, you would be cared for, there would be one bill sent, and that would be it.
Greer said the organization wants to distribute information about the health care crisis, and if you'd like to find out more, you can write to the American Association of Retired Persons, 601 E Street in Washington, D.C., 20049. Well, up next is the Canyon Country weather forecast when Channel 6 News continues.
First Western National Bank announces a new FHA Title I opportunity on loans for manufactured homes and lots for as little as 10% down, up to $40,500 available on manufactured homes and $54,000 for home and lot. The rates and terms are negotiable, and all loan decisions are made locally. So renters, here's your chance to own at First Western National Bank, your hometown bank in Moab.
Through the seasons, through the miles, through the rough country of southeastern Utah, we get you through. We're GTE. We're your telephone company.
It was mostly sunny skies in the valley on Wednesday, with afternoon temperatures hitting the 100-degree mark at about 1 o'clock. And look for more sunshine with some occasional clouds over the next few days. Official National Weather Service forecast for Moab and Canyon Country calls for fair to partly cloudy skies through Thursday. Look for a chance of some isolated showers, especially near the mountains, and expect gusty winds near the storms. Afternoon high thermometer readings will be above 100 degrees, overnight lows down to about 65. And the long-range forecast calls for fair to partly cloudy skies and temperatures near 100 degrees right on through the weekend. And that's news of Moab and Canyon Country. I'm Dee Tranter reporting. Have a good day.
Welcome to the Channel 6 News. I'm Jim Kelly reporting. Moab City begins implementing its own rules and regulations at the landfill, and the fire at the courthouse and jail last week turns out to be more disruptive than originally thought. We'll have those stories plus another edition of the Outdoor Show with John Maynard when the Channel 6 News continues.
Weather's really something.
Heat pump weather.
Why would anybody want a heat pump this time of year?
I can see they haven't taught you everything in college. Well, heat pumps just don't heat in the winter. They cool in the summer.
Like air conditioner?
Yeah. Heat pump's the most efficient cooling and heating system going.
Hi, Earl.
Morning, Audrey.
Come and have some tea.
Say, bring that heat pump on up, will you, son? Oh, and grab my toolbox while you're at it.
Thanks a lot, Earl.
Utah Power. Call for the H-Pro dealer nearest you and ask about our low-interest financing.
Your H-Pro dealer in Moab is Nelson's Heating and Refrigeration.
See the action, hear the crowd, feel the excitement, Western style. The Moab Rodeo this Friday, 7:30 p.m. at the Old Spanish Trail Arena. Fun for the whole family, and kids under 6 get in free. Save on advance tickets at the Cowboy Trading Company, 78 South Main. For the city of Moab, running the landfill is more than just covering the garbage. This week, the city has gone into action supervising operations at the dump, checking what's being left, sorting the materials, and locking it up at night. It's all in response to the majority view of the Moab City Council that the city must take a more active role in managing the facility in the interest of city residents. And that meant being careful about what and how much is allowed in the dump.
Personally, would like to see the city from this point forward say that we will no longer accept asbestos, gasoline contaminated materials, or any other toxic material. It's just plain and simple. If we set down some hard and fast rules on these types of things, then I think it's pretty easy to just simply say, no, the governing body has said no, you'll have to find someplace else to take it.
You've got to clean up these gas leaks in these service stations. I think there's still one down there at the visitor center where they're going to build it. I think there's some contaminated soil there that's got to come out of there. Now, where are they going to go with it? I'm not talking about dumping it in the river, but if you're talking about contamination of groundwater, and I'm sure when monitor wells get underneath that in the right place, I'm sure we got a lot of contamination.
So why should they be exempt from that and put that burden on us by putting it in our landfill? We're trying to prevent that from happening in our landfill, property that we have the control over.
But you have not maintained that kind of landfill.
That's
You've
right.
got 40
Now we
years
can.
of dump up
But
there.
now we can.
But just because it happened in the past doesn't mean we have to do it now. I mean,
If
two
you
wrongs
start
don't
off,
make it right.
you could maintain such standard if you could start a new and create a new one, but you've got a situation that's already there.
That's correct.
And you can't correct it.
So
You
why
can't
make it
change
worse?
the water table.
Just don't want to make it worse, that's all.
When county crews walked out of the landfill earlier this summer at the direction of the county commission, operation of the dump fell to the city. They hired a private contractor to cover the garbage, according to state rules and regulations, and ordered the purchase of fencing for the facility. And by the middle of this week, the city's new management of the dump was in full swing, according to Moab's Public Works Director, Brent Williams.
Right now, we've got an operator up there. He's hired by the city. He stands right there and he takes information from every vehicle that comes in. And if he's got questions of the load, he takes photographs of it. And most people have been really cooperative. But we're separating the steel, the appliances, the tires, and all the organic like trees, limbs, everything's separating all that from the normal garbage. So then Bert Swink, we've asked him to come in and help us identify some garbage. We don't know what's recyclable and what isn't. He's got good knowledge on that.
Paints or thinners? No. Oils?
No.
No contaminable
I've
materials?
got one can. I'm not sure what's in it. I think it's tar maybe or something like
Let's see what it is, Uncle. You might have to take it back.
Okay.
Why is the city going to all the trouble to do this?
Well, basically, the rules coming in place by next year, you'll either start doing some of these rules, or in the long run, they'll come back, and the fees that you're going to be put in place for as monitoring is going to be a lot worse. If you have records of what you've been putting in there, and they know it's secure so as people can't come in the middle of the night and dump anything they want, they feel better about what's been going on. So they're a little easier on you.
Okay, fencing it off. Where's the situation as far as that goes?
Okay, I think what's going to end up there is the bids that come in on the fencing was so high that I think what we're going to do is just hire someone to drill the holes and we'll put our own fence up.
And when will you be doing that?
Hopefully by the first of next week, no later than then.
City officials say they have been receiving calls from various companies throughout the region who wanted to know if the landfill here was still open and free to anyone. And city officials add that from now on, the Moab dump will not have the reputation of being a dumping ground for Utah and Colorado. Part of that control is the plan to have the dump open regular hours.
Last night's the first time that we actually closed it. I've had them come in from 10 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock at night to get a feel for when people do show up. So then the next day we went from 9 o'clock till 7. And then yesterday we went from 8 o'clock till 7. Today we're doing the same thing. And I think in the morning is when more people is using it versus after work because it's so hot. So we're getting kind of educated at the same time.
So what are the hours of the dump going to be?
Basically, we haven't decided. Probably going to be 6 days a week, and on the hours per day, we'll try to keep at least 10 hours a day. And what day we're going to shut it down, we're not sure. We've talked Sundays, but maybe Monday's a better day. We're trying to get a feel for it with the actual records right now.
And another part of the city's plan is to track down anyone who doesn't follow the rules.
Last night, I did lock the gates, and one person did leave the garbage out in front. So I opened it up, and there's names and addresses, and so I'm going to go have a talk with them and tell them.
The city has also scheduled a meeting with all the commercial users of the dump, including construction companies, river runners, and government entities such as the National Park Service and the Bureau of Land Management. That meeting will begin the process of setting commercial fees for large-scale use of the landfill. The courthouse fire forces the county to change its plans, and Richard and Bertha Reynolds win the Chamber of Commerce Yard of the Week. We'll have those stories plus the outdoor show with John Maynard when the Channel 6 News continues.
Moab Hardware and Furniture, where televisions abound.
Coming to Moab, Monday, August 17th at 7:30 p.m. for one night only to start off the Grand County Fair at the old Spanish Trail Arena will be the personal appearance of the popular country western singer Joni
You know, those feelings that you had for her gone.
Tickets Tickets for Monday, August 17th performance available at City Market and Cowboy Trading Company.
I could just figure out why you...
When you need a gift, come to Sherry's Country Store Gifts. A country store doesn't just mean country-style goods, it means a store stocked with items to satisfy the needs of the people. Sherry's carries on that tradition by offering a wide selection of gifts for any age, presented in a warm country store atmosphere. So come on in and browse, or grab a treat and set a spell on the green benches of Sherry's Country Store Gifts in the Western Plaza.
The fire at the empty county jail has turned into a major disruption. The fire took place last Wednesday evening after the jail had been emptied in preparation of the renovation of the facility. A team of Department of Corrections personnel under the command of Captain Richard Billings were practicing techniques to quell violent prison riots. The corrections crew set off explosives, which ignited the jail building insulation and led to a fire that took hours to quell. All county offices, except the Sheriff's Department, had moved out of the building. The sheriff and his deputies were scheduled to keep functioning in the basement of the courthouse, but smoke damage from the fire has made that impossible. As of now, the Sheriff's Dispatch Office is now operating out of the telephone company building, and the Sheriff's Department has moved into the former state office building along with other county departments. And that means there is no longer any room at that facility for public meetings, so beginning this Monday, the Grand County Commission will be meeting in the American Legion room of the Moab Civic Center. The primary election is less than a month away, and the number of public events featuring local candidates is slim. But one place you can hear rival Republican Party candidates is at the next two upcoming Chamber of Commerce luncheons. On Tuesday, August 18th, Rick Hoover, running for County Commission, will face off against his primary opponent, Dale Mosier. That luncheon gets underway at noon at the Sportsman's Restaurant. And the following week, candidates for the Republican nomination for state representative, Lyle Anderson and Keel Johnson, will be at the luncheon. Local Democrats will vote for statewide candidates in their primary, but in the commission race, Peter Haney is unopposed within the party, as is state representative candidate Dan Nakai. You don't have to break your back or your bank trying to keep green lawns in Moab. At least not if you're Richard and Bertha Reynolds, the winners of the Yard of the Week from the Moab Chamber of Commerce. Moab is a high desert valley, and Kentucky bluegrass and other lush green lawns can be difficult to grow and expensive to water. The Reynolds avoided all that trouble by going to a rock yard, and their explanation for why made a lot of sense.
Because we're lazy and don't like to mow lawn.
Don't like to mow and don't like to water.
Well, I do the watering.
Spread throughout the property are clusters of bright flowers and trees, adding color, variety, and shade, and the Moab Chamber of Commerce honors Richard and Bertha Reynolds for their Yard of the Week. And if you have any of your own nominations for future Yards of the Week, you can call the Moab Chamber of Commerce at 259-7531. It was sunny and bright in the valley on Thursday with temperatures climbing above 100 degrees. And we can expect more high temperatures over the next few days, with an increase in clouds and a chance of some isolated showers. The official forecast for Moab and Canyon Country calls for fair to partly cloudy skies through Friday. Afternoon high thermometer readings should be around 102 degrees, with overnight lows near 70. There should be a few more clouds on Saturday, with a chance of some thunder showers before the skies clear on Sunday. And expect mercury readings above the century mark throughout the weekend. Up next is the Outdoor Show with John Maynard when the Channel 6 News continues.
First Western National Bank announces a new FHA Title I opportunity on loans for manufactured homes and lots for as little as 10% down, up to $40,500 available on manufactured homes and $54,000 for home and lot. The rates and terms are negotiable, and all loan decisions are made locally. So renters, here's your chance to own at First Western National Bank, your hometown bank in Moab.
B. Osborne's is the most complete bookstore in southeast Utah. Your complete bookstore for magazines, books, maps, special orders from anywhere, magazines from Europe, newspapers from major cities of the U.S. Need a special gift for that person on your list who is hard to please? Get a gift certificate from B. Osborne's and let them please themselves. B. Osborne's Books and Magazines, 50 South Main in Moab, your bookstore, and more.
Through the seasons, through the miles, through the rough country of southeastern Utah, we get you through. We're GTE. We're your telephone company.
And now it's time for the Outdoor Show with John Maynard.
Hi, welcome to the Outdoors. Today I'm talking to Kim Tapman. Kim's an extraordinary archer here in town, has some trophies in the record books here in Utah. Also owns an archery shop over on 500 West. Kim, what's the address of that archery shop?
704 North, 500 West. I just run it out of my basement part-time when I'm not working other things.
But you help a lot of guys out with their archery
I
equipment.
try to help everybody out as much as I can and do the best that I can with everybody.
Kim, it's a week now until the bow season gets underway, the 22nd of August, and archers are doing their last-minute things, getting ready to hopefully have a successful season. I guess I want to ask you, what seems to be the biggest mistake that archers make, or what's the most important thing they should be looking at?
Well, the most important thing is they should have had their bow set up prior to the season with arrows that match their bow for their specific weight and a specific draw length is one of the best things that they can do, to have an arrow matched towards that bow.
And going to Walmart or going to Kmart and just buying arrows don't really cut it, does it?
No, Easton puts out a chart that tells you, gives you a general idea of what arrows should fit your bow. And if you buy the arrow to fit that bow, you will shoot a lot better in the most part.
Yeah, on each one of the arrows that Easton makes, there's a number. Like on this one, it's 2216. That 22 is the hundredths in diameter of the arrow, and the 16 means the thousandths of the wall thickness. And there are all different types of arrows that are different in diameter and different in wall thickness, which match the weight of the bow.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. Each arrow is splined different so that you can shoot a different arrow to match with your bow and your specific draw length.
You know, one of the things I think that archers don't do enough is practice. Practice, practice, practice. It's probably the most important word in archery.
Yeah, you should have been practicing all summer long, and now you should have everything set according to where you want it, and now it's just a matter of shooting every day, if possible, and trying to pick a spot on that animal that you're shooting at, the game that you're going for. And this last week I like to tune the broadheads, you know, go change from field tips and go to broadheads and start using a few of them, just to get those tuned in right the way you want them also.
Yeah, and it's really tough on targets to shoot broadheads at targets. It's probably a good idea to go out up, well, where I usually go is up towards Arches Park, where the big sand pit is, and shoot up there.
Yeah. If you're getting true flight out of it and your pins are set and your broadhead is hitting relatively close to where your field tip is, then you're probably set. Then you just keep practicing right up until the season rolls around.
Talking about practice, I think there's kind of a key, and I talked about it last year, how good you have to be. I said last week that if you can put 80% of the arrows in an 8-inch circle at a given distance, whether it's 20 yards or 30 yards, that's probably where you want to be. If you can't do it at 40 yards, then you have no business at shooting at 40 yards. But you told me tonight that you like even a finer aiming point than that.
Yeah, I like to put a 1-inch circle on the side of my target, and that's all that I have there, so that I have to pick that spot in order to shoot. And if I can hit relatively close to that spot, then I feel in my own mind that I'm doing a relatively good job.
Well, let's talk about one more final thing, and that's being able to judge distance. I think that's the fault of a lot of archers, is that they can't judge distance accurately, and if you miss that distance by even as much as as little as 3 or 4 yards, you're probably going to miss that deer.
That's correct. If you've been practicing all summer, you shoot at different distances, and you're getting to know somewhat where your limits are, to where you can shoot good and what distance that you can judge. A lot of people like to use a rangefinder. For those that can't judge distances, they like to take a rangefinder. It tells you all instructions on how to use it, and you just adjust it accordingly and then read the dial on the side of it, and it gives you within a yard or two of the distance that you need to hold on that animal in order to shoot.
Yeah, and I'm one of those guys that are not a good judge of distance, but I hunt out of a tree stand a lot, and what I do is when I get up in my tree stand, I pick out certain landmarks and find out the given distances to those, and then when my target walks by at one of those landmarks, then I know what that distance is.
That's a good way to do it. Know the distance of a tree or a bush or something out there beforehand. That way that when it comes by whatever animal you're after, you have some idea of at least where you should be shooting at that animal.
And if there's not a tree or something nearby, I've gone as far as laying a limb or something like that at a known distance from my stand.
Yeah, you can set a rock, a limb, anything that gives you that known distance so that you know where you should be shooting at.
Lastly, where should the punters go on the mountain? No,
well,
don't tell them.
There's deer everywhere on the mountain. You should have been doing a little pre-season scouting beforehand. Hopefully you've got a buck spotted that you want to shoot at. Myself, I haven't seen one big enough yet that I want to shoot at, so I don't know where I'm going to go.
I haven't either. Kim, thanks very much for being with us this week and giving the archers a few last-minute tips before the season.
Well, I hope it helps everybody. It's getting a little late in the season, and they should have had everything basically ready to go by this time. So.
But most hunters are procrastinators like myself.
Well, that's true.
Okay, that's it for this week. We'll be seeing you again next week in the outdoors.
And that's the news of Moab and Canyon Country. I'm Jim Kelly, reminding you to keep on smiling.
Welcome to the Channel 6 News. I'm Tricia Maroney reporting. An accident between a motorcycle and an automobile puts a Moab resident in the hospital. And Moab gets ready for the county fair. We'll have those stories when the Channel 6 News continues.
First Western National Bank announces a new FHA Title I opportunity on loans for manufactured homes and lots for as little as 10% down. Up to $40,500 available on manufactured homes and $54,000 for home and lot. The rates and terms are negotiable and all loan decisions are made locally. So renters, here's your chance to own at First Western National Bank, your hometown bank in Moab.
If you haven't been to Frosty Freeze lately, you're in for a treat. They've modernized and gone old-fashioned with an ice cream parlor atmosphere and homemade ice cream. There's fat-free frozen yogurt for the diet-minded and a drive-thru for the on-the-go. But that's not all. There's a gift corner now that's a treat for the eyes. From souvenirs to antiques to old-fashioned ice cream, it's Frosty Freeze.
An accident between a car and a motorcycle sent one person to Allen Memorial Hospital on Friday. The accident occurred at the intersection of Mill Creek Drive and Murphy Lane. The driver of the car, R.B. Latham, was shaken up but not seriously injured. But the motorcycle rider, Doug Christensen, was injured seriously enough to be taken by ambulance to the hospital. Grand County Deputy Sheriff Kurt Brewer explained to Channel 6 that the automobile was heading toward Spanish Valley.
Was traveling east on Mill Creek Drive. He was turning left onto Murphy Lane when another individual by the name of Doug Christensen, both individuals from Moab, was traveling west on Mill Creek Drive.
Along with the Sheriff's Department, the ambulance crew was also on the scene and were able to quickly get the victim to the hospital for medical care.
Both vehicles met at the intersection of Mill Creek and Murphy Lane. Subsequently, Mr. Christensen had laid the bike over prior to hitting the vehicle.
The intersection of Mill Creek and Murphy Lane has one stop sign, but that's for westbound drivers on Murphy Lane. The Sheriff's Department says they are still looking into the cause of the accident.
Just a bad corner. Has this happened before at this intersection?
It's been quite a while since we've had an accident here. Right now it's still under investigation. We haven't determined on the speed. The motorcycle appears to be a total loss on the motorcycle.
Christensen was transferred from Allen Memorial Hospital to St. Mary's Hospital in Grand Junction, where he was reported Friday afternoon to be in stable condition. The Moab City Planning Commission will hold a special meeting Monday evening, August 17th, to discuss the proposed planned unit development at Holiday Haven Mobile Home Park. The group of developers have proposed constructing modular homes within the trailer park, creating a separate subdivision under the direction of a homeowners association. The original goal was putting up about 90 of the homes, which would sell from somewhere in the range of $60,000. Because planned unit developments are new in Moab, the city's planning department has been looking closely at this proposal and have come up with a list of recommendations and requirements regarding open spaces, utilities, and housing density. If the Planning Commission approves the plan this Monday, there is still a long way to go before construction and sales can begin. It then goes to the City Council, which must call a public hearing, and then it goes back to the Planning Commission for final approval. It's almost time for the 1992 Grand County Fair. This time it's going to be a little bit different than in recent years. Along with the traditional competition in crafts, gardening, fine arts, baking, photography, and needlework, there will also be a number of entertainment events. Starting it off is a special country music concert featuring Joni Harms. Joni sings and co-wrote most of the songs on her current album entitled Hometown Girl. That concert is Monday evening, August 17th, beginning at 7:30 at the old Spanish Trail Arena. But the concert is just one part of an interesting week of activities. John Beck told Channel 6 about some of the other events on the schedule.
Thursday night, August 20th, we have starting out with a salsa contest at 6 p.m., and that's going to be really exciting. Morris is putting that together, and he can be called at 259-8785. And you can enter. We have two categories. We have business and individual, and that's going to be a great contest. I hope everybody comes out for that. We've got chips donated, and it's going to be a good time. After that, we've got Mark Doherty in concert, followed by Joe Lima and his band, and that's going to probably end up somewhere around 10 o'clock that night, and it's just going to be a really good time. Friday night, we are starting out with a Dutch oven demonstration. Calvin Means is going to put that on, and he's going to demonstrate Dutch oven cooking that you would use on your camp out, and it's going to be very basic, just maybe some skills, tricks, and it's gonna he's gonna put that on, and afterwards we're going to have a tasting for a minimum donation, and after that we are going to have a talent show, which is going to be really a good time. Lynn Goosetree is putting that on, and she's got quite a few local people involved with that, and that's going to be a fun time for everybody.
Saturday is the big day for the exhibits as well as group activities.
Saturday, August 22nd, the fair opens at 9. We've got a car show happening, and Merv Lawton is in charge of that. If you'd like to display your car, get in touch with him. It's for basically any car, antique, restored, any trick cars, anything you'd like to bring out there. Actually, it's a car show for everybody. That starts. Actually, the fair opens at 9. At 10 o'clock, we've got the pet show, our pet contest, which is sponsored by Vet Art, and he's done a great job. We've got categories for any pet. It's open to every pet. It's not just a dog or a cat show, so bring your bird, chameleon, whatever. We're going to have a good time out there. At 11 o'clock, we've got a horse show happening, and that's going to be in the outdoor rodeo arena. That's going to be really exciting. At 12 o'clock, we are having the high noon pig kissing contest finale, and whoever gets the most votes is going to kiss the pig is our plan. And we've been promised that whoever does get picked will kiss the pig, so we'll see what happens Saturday at noon.
And who's leading as of right now?
Right now, Dave Knutson is ahead just by visual. We haven't counted, but place your votes.
That's the Grand County Fair beginning Thursday, August 20th at the Old Spanish Trail Arena. A talent agency says Moab residents can get roles in movies and commercials, and the Grand County Commission is expected to okay the change in government proposal for the November ballot on Monday. We'll have those stories when the Channel 6 News continues. If it's housewares, fabrics, or school supplies you need, think Sprouse. If it's bed and bath items or health and beauty aids you're looking for, think Sprouse. For greeting cards, footwear, or toys, think Sprouse. For more values more often, think Sprouse. Now save on items for back to school. Check the flyer and the advertiser for this week's specials. Sprouse.
It's the best time of year for an early morning or late evening round of golf, and they're ready and waiting for you at the Moab Golf Course. With its emerald green fairways surrounded by brilliant red rock, the Moab Golf Course has all you need to get started, including golf cart and club rentals, a complete pro shop, snack bar, driving range, and group or individual lessons. So come on out to the Moab Golf Course in Spanish Valley. Just follow the signs from Highway 191.
Best Value Foods, where shopping is a breeze.
This week, save on 64-ounce assorted Gatorade, just $2.09, and Pepsi products 6-pack cans, just $1.69. The Moab Mosquito Abatement District will not be fogging Friday, Saturday, and Sunday evenings, August 14th through the 16th. The district sprays malathion to kill adult mosquitoes when light traps and reports from neighborhoods indicate it is needed. But the district is concentrating much of its work on source control, or eliminating the mosquitoes in creeks and standing water before they hatch. And they remind all residents that you can help by making sure old cans, tires, and other vessels that can collect water and allow breeding are emptied and drained. Over the last few years, dozens of movies and commercials have been shot in and around Moab, and the shooting provided jobs for a number of Moab residents, from script supervision to carpenters. But much of the expertise here is in the behind-the-scenes crafts, with most of the actors or talent coming from outside. But now a talent agency from the Wasatch Front wants to change that. Mindy Hale of the Lasting Impressions Agency was in town this week at the Griffith Productions offices, signing up Moab residents for work as models, actors, and extras. Her company has supplied talent to projects including Desperate Hours and The Boys of Twilight and many other major Hollywood productions, and she believes setting up a branch office in Moab will be a success.
We're here because I know a lot of the Moab people. I was born and raised in Moab, and we would like to organize and provide a professional service to the production companies in order to represent the talent so it's a positive experience for them, be it if they work on a commercial or a movie or just as an extra, so that they know exactly what to expect, so that there's someone there that's taking care of them. They make sure that it doesn't go overboard on hours, that their needs are taken care of, as well as alert them and notify them of other jobs that are coming into the area, both in Salt Lake and Orem if they want to come up to work on those, or Moab productions.
The aim is to have a list of actors and actresses ready to work, freeing up production companies from having to find and train them or bring them in from out of town.
Monica Wiggins will be assisting us. So when we have a client that calls and says, I need 50 extras tomorrow at this location for this production, we will have all of our people after today, hopefully, on computer so we can bring up men, women, or children of the age range and the look that they are requesting. Fax her a list, she'll call those people, they will be organized to go out. We will also have a representative on the sets.
This week, Hale and Company were interviewing local residents for inclusion in the talent register.
The purpose for what we're doing here is to put together a sample book similar to this, which would provide production companies with a book of a variety of talent, men, women, and children of all ages, that are qualified as actors, models, and extras, and we realize that the majority of the people in Moab are probably just interested in extra work. But we would like to have something that we can send out in coordination with the Film Commission in their packets to alert the production companies to the people that are in the Moab area.
The pay on film projects can be high, but the work is sporadic. Hale recommends that local residents see it as a part-time job.
We have people that do this professionally, full-time, and make a living at it, but I always encourage people to get a good education, go to college, do this on the side for extra money and for the fun and excitement of it to get started, and then as you build and as doors open for you and you continually work, you build your resume, you learn the business, you learn the industry.
The Moab Film Commission also keeps a list of local residents ready to work on film projects. The Grand County Commission will hold their regular meeting Monday at their new regular meeting place. With the recent fire in the jail, coupled with the courthouse renovation, the Sheriff's Department has now moved into the room at the old state office building where meetings were scheduled to take place. So that means commission meetings will now take place at the American Legion room of the Moab Civic Center. At that meeting, the commission is expected to approve the putting the change of government proposal on the ballot in November. They will also discuss the City Council member Bill McDougall setting up a special service district to operate the landfill. And the commission will hear from Treasurer Grace Easton, who will report on how much money Grand County will receive in state payment in lieu of tax money. Once again, that meeting will take place at the American Legion room of the Moab Civic Center beginning at 9 a.m. The issue of health care has become a major question for candidates in the Democratic and Republican Party primaries for governor. The lack of health care and the prohibitive cost of it have been big issues throughout the United States over the past 2 years. In the Republican Party primary, Richard Eyre says government intervention into a national plan would be a catastrophe. He says he would encourage less consumer reliance on both the government and insurance and more on paying doctor bills themselves. Eyre's opponent, Mike Levitt, says he doesn't have a specific plan, but will, if elected, bring together consumers, hospitals, and business leaders to come up with a solution. On the Democratic side, Stuart Hansen also says he would work for consensus, but he also says hospitals have been overbuilt and the cash drain is hurting the entire health care system. And Hansen's opponent, Pat Shea, says he wants to allow taxpayers to set up a tax-free accounts earmarked for future health care. With less than a month to go before the primaries, polls show Levitt leading Eyre and Shea ahead of Hansen. Up next is the Canyon Country weather forecast when Channel 6 News continues.
Coming to Moab, Monday, August 17th at 7:30 p.m. for one night only to start off the Grand County Fair at the old Spanish Trail Arena will be the personal appearance of the popular country western singer Joni Harms.
You know, those feelings that you had for her gone.
Tickets for Monday, August 17th performance available at City Market and Cowboy Trading Company.
I could just figure out why you held on to that number for so long.
For the best RV camp park in Moab, it's Holiday Haven, with oversized spaces to accommodate the largest RV and cool, comfortable tent sites under mature shade trees, all with a convenient central location. Holiday Haven is also Moab's finest mobile home park that offers country living in the city, an established park with pool, playground, laundry facilities, and a retired section. For comfortable RV or mobile home living, it's Holiday Haven, 400 North, 5th West.
The forecast for Friday called for some partly cloudy skies, and if you strained your eyes, there were some wispy clouds in the sky. But for the most part, it was bright sunshine and blue skies, with afternoon temperatures climbing up to 100 degrees. And expect a nice weekend, but there will be a chance of some widely scattered thunderstorms, especially near the mountains and high mesas. The forecast for Moab and Canyon Country calls for 100-degree days through the weekend and into Monday. Some early weekend clouds should give way to mostly sunny skies on Monday and Tuesday. Look for mercury readings climbing to the century mark and overnight lows in the mid-60s. And that's the news of Moab and Canyon Country. I'm Tricia Maronig reporting.